was intended to be a timing pass in the end zone. Turner could never get there.
It's going to be an interesting call. I guess the ball was in the air, so it is pass interference, but the defender made contact before the ball was in the air, and it was within the 5 yards that he's allowed to.
You talk about intensity. Don Coryell looking on. And number 81 is Turner. He's trying to get free from Ken Taylor right there. And Taylor was all over him. You could see where Craig had intended for Turner to be. So now it'll be first down goal to go with the ball at the 6-yard line. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Seahawks trying to take the lead for the first time tonight. Warner. Oh, Jay, I think he had thoughts of taking it all the way back to the left, and then he had a second thought.
Yes, he did. It looked like something was happening over there. If I was him at halftime, I'd go to number 71, Byron Millard, and I would say, Byron, even if you're going to miss a block, go after somebody right away so I can see what you're doing.
Save the one timeout in case you need to get the kicker on the field. And picked up by Mike Tice, who might have been better advised to just knock it down and stop the clock with the incompletion, because now Seattle with 16 seconds uses the one timeout. And Dave Craig, Seahawks without timeouts, and of course I'm sure that they're going to put the ball into the end zone. That's instructions. If you don't have a dead solid shot at getting the score, that was intended for Ray Butler. You throw the incompletion and trot your field goal unit out. So again, credit the San Diego defense we were speaking of a moment ago. Good work down here. You don't like to go into halftime having given up a golden opportunity. They had a first down goal to go at the 7-yard line, and now they have to bring out the field goal kicker, Norm Johnson. Kicked one tonight from 30 yards out in the second quarter. This one will be from 25 yards. The 30-second clock, I think, had expired. And
false start, number 74 on the offense, still fourth down.
Kurt Singer, false start. They'll back him up 5 yards. They had also run off the 30-second clock. Norm Johnson, last year, one of the problems for Chuck Knox, got off to a real slow start. Well, the clock had aired, and now they're going to put, what did he say, 15 seconds back on the clock? Okay, back to 16. That's where it was. Norm Johnson had trouble with the holder at the beginning of last year, what it really was, and then the holder he has now, Gail Gilbert, took over those chores, and he picked up right where he had been in '84, and that was a Pro Bowl place kicker.
And that was interesting. Hank Bauer, the special teams coach for the Chargers.
San Diego, number 1.
One of these teams will have 30 points before this game is over. You watch.
I'm going to ask you about that later. Well, a lot of mental gymnastics, and nothing happens except we get 3 points up on the board for Seattle. The game played out strategically on both sides of the field, and the Seahawks pull it to within 1. Dave Craig, again from Milton College, which no longer exists. The last 3 years, he has more touchdown passes than any other quarterback except Dan Marino. Coming into this year, Craig had 77, Marino 98.
And last year they said he was inconsistent. They blamed many of their problems on him. One of the reasons they went 8-8, but hey, he threw 27 touchdown passes.
I know he wasn't inconsistent in the one game they played here. And He took a page out of Fouts' book and threw for over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, and they beat San Diego 49-35.
Well, for those Charger fans, I still haven't been able to figure out what's wrong with the Chargers. I mean, when you think of a team with skilled positions, I mean they have probably the most talent of any team in football in those positions, and they've scored 7 points this first half. 13 points last week. I can't believe it.
Don Coryell handling a very strange situation down in Seattle. Al Saunders is an assistant head coach. He also coaches defensive backs. He is the man who really communicates with owner Alex Spanos. He has been said and has been referred to as the heir apparent to Don Coryell, who's been around a lot of years. As stated in the past, he'd like to retire at around 62 years old. He'll be 62 in a little over a week. Short kick by Johnson and covered at the 40-yard line. Falling on the ball there is Gary Plummer, and 5 seconds remain. The Chargers will bring out their offensive unit, probably give you the Big Ben, or there are a lot of different names for it. They'll put 3 wide receivers on one side of the field. They'll hang one up high, and of course the half or a game cannot end on a defensive foul. They'll be looking for the defensive foul.
Unfortunately, that type of play, it takes time, and I'm a little surprised that the Seahawks only have 3 down linemen in the game right now.
And that apparently is not the thinking of Don Coryell and the Chargers. They're just going to run the time off. And that's exactly what they do. That's the end of the first half. Fine kick by Mojinko, has been struggling with his kickoffs in recent weeks. Edmonds out over the 20-yard line to the 22-yard line. And OJ, as I said as the half ended, you keep looking for more than we've gotten so far.
I'm afraid we're going to get it, though, because Chuck Knox's teams tend to do well in the second half. I think they're going to come out here and feature Kurt a little bit to hold those linebackers, and they'll go back to doing exactly what they were doing at the end of the half, throwing those deep turn-ins and those deep comebacks once they hold those linebackers in there.
The surprise there being the passing yardage for San Diego. Dan Faust, again, as I mentioned, a lot of time to throw the ball. Just good coverage on the part of Seattle. Kurt Warner picks up where he left off, exploding over the right side, getting a good block once again by Williams, and gets the first down out around the 34-yard line.
Yes, it's plays like that and runs like that. So pitch out, designed to be a sweep, takes it out as far as he can. Corner comes up, turns up, and great blocking. Now this is going to get the attention of the strong safety and those linebackers, and that's what's going to open up those deep turn-ins to the wide receivers.
Warner gets the first down. Williams should be credited with the assist. Fine block on Wayne Davis, who came up to turn it in. And Williams, perhaps as a reward, gets a big opening on the outside for himself, and he is close to first down yardage. Good acceleration by Williams. He is just what the doctor ordered for Chuck Knox's offense. You know yourself, having played for him, OJ. You know what he likes. He likes to have that man out there blocking for his #1 running back.
He's done it over the years with Lawrence McCutcheon, of course, Joe Cribbs back in Buffalo. People like Chuck Knox and Bum Phillips, they're gods to us running back.
You like to run it, and they like to watch you run. First and 10, 44-yard line for Seattle. They trail San Diego 7-6, early going of the third quarter. Flag is down. Craig looks downfield and comes back to John Williams, who gets to midfield, but again a flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
That's still an example of what John L. Williams can do for you. He's a crushing blocker, can run with the ball, and he can come out of the backfield and catch the ball for you.
It'll work against San Diego. That was Jeff Dale again up there, and probably anticipating the pass. It probably was a safety blitz. He encroached into the neutral zone. The Seahawks will take the penalty, which amounted to the same amount of yardage, but they keep it at first down. The only man who has won over 100 games at the collegiate level, he did that at San Diego State and Whittier, and also at the professional level, Don Coryell. Warner again. Pecking, looking, twisting, turning, and Warner gets 9 before Plummer is there to make the stop. If you join the slate, Warner has been much of the offense, that time over the left side and getting up to within a yard of the first down.
But one thing about it, if you have a blitzing defense, it won't do you much good if a team is running at you.
On second down, Williams, I think he thought he was going to run into a lot more traffic than he did over the right side. He wanted a lower shoulder, did not have to, as he eased it for the first down, down close to the 42-yard line. This could make for a very speedy football game.
Yeah.
Of course, they always say if you can run the football, that's when you can throw the football. Meaning, of course, when you got a team thinking run, you come with the play action. That's when you can beat them deep and beat them often. The play action. And Warner doesn't handle the football, and a flag is down. A pair of flags are down. Holding Seattle. Darrell Turner was deep downfield. And Craig took a quick look at him, but he was covered well, so he checked it off.
Number 76 on the offense. Still first down.
Bochart over the left side. You'll see it over the left side of your screen.
Yeah, take a look on the left side of your screen. He's trying to block Chuck Ian. Ian's got position on him. He's hooks him with his left arm. Definitely a holding call. Pretty
almost strangled him. First down and 20. The Seahawks backed up to their own 48-yard line. San Diego showing blitz initially. Now they're back out of it. Craig with a great shot and beating the zone coverage, firing to Byron Franklin. Came from Buffalo last year in a trade. He had some big years, as I mentioned earlier, up in Buffalo. A speedster, but again, they don't blitz. And Craig, I think, thought they were, O.J.
Yes, I think he called an audible, but it was a play-action pass. That holds the linebacker. You saw 53, Mike Douglas, who normally would have been a little deeper and maybe been able to deflect the pass. He was caught a little short. Completed pass.
Franklin with a good deep threat against Brown. Second down and 3. Warner put the head down and tried to get to the first down marker, coming up just a little bit short. Kurt Warner, a big night here in the Kingdome. Came into tonight's game the leader in the AFC in rushing after the first 4 games. And he's done nothing really to hurt himself. He has 97 yards, and we are in the early going of the third quarter.
And that's right around 20 carries. That's just about his average. A back like Kurt Warner, breakaway back, should be averaging around 5 yards a carry, and that sort of shows that Kurt is all the way back.
Third down, it's a long yard for the first. Warner. And this time made the decision to go outside. Nothing happening as Wayne Davis came up from the cornerback position, and there's a loss back to the 36-yard line.
Once again, credit the Charger defense. Got a lot of penetration on that play, and Kurt really had no choice. Could have stopped and gotten no gain or tried to get outside and gain some yards, and didn't work for him.
Norm Johnson comes on. He will be attempting what should be close to a 50-yard field goal. It will be officially 49. He can reach it. His career best, 54 yards. And of course, here in the Kingdome, unaffected by any problem from the elements. Yes. Seattle with the lead for the first time tonight on a 49-yard field goal. Johnson hangs it high and deep. Norm Johnson really pumped. And he goes with a quick count. Joyner out to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. Joyner had a 2-yard pickup earlier. Came into tonight needing 19 yards for his record.
Well, this may be a big break for San Diego. The best defensive back, with the exception of Ken Easley, Terry Taylor, number 20, appears to have he may have a cramp, or he appears to have a knee problem. He's the guy that they'll use on man coverage. Normally they'll put him on the best receiver, maybe Wes Chandler or Gary Anderson, and the rest of the defensive backs will play some type of zone.
Quick look at Joyner, who now needs 12 yards to break the record of Don Maynard for career yardage, and they are now looking at the left knee of Terry Taylor, who does appear to be all right. The wave in the Kingdom.
Now this noise presents a major problem for the Chargers. We mentioned earlier the Chargers cannot call an audible, but in the Chargers passing game, all of their receivers have options anyway, so it really shouldn't affect them that much if it's a passing play.
Kerry Justin in for Terry Taylor. 2nd down and 4. Dan Fouts back looking. Joyner wide open, and that should be the record. Joyner out at the 45-yard line, and Joyner has now passed Don Maynard's career mark. Maynard held that mark at 11,834 yards. Joyner in 18 years. And I think the most impressive statistic is that he has not missed a football game going all the way back to 1973. 3 receptions on the night now for Joyner. 27 yards. And again, Pete Elliott from the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, on hand to congratulate Charlie Joyner. Good football fans here in Seattle on their feet applauding the efforts of Charlie Joyner.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They may get noisy and make it tough on an offense, but they appreciate good football. That was just about as loud as Steve Largent's applause.
And lost in the thunder of it all is the fact that Dan Fouts has now moved the Chargers up to the 45-yard line. Chandler, the acrobat, no. He did not get both feet down inbounds. Let's look at it again. Look at it.
Well, like the controversial call in L.A. last week, he had plenty of room to get both feet down. I'm a little surprised that a receiver of Wes Chandler's abilities didn't get both feet in on that.
Let's take a look at Joyner's record-breaking reception. Just the drive across the middle. Fouts looking at him all the way. And there it is as he surpasses the yardage record of Don Maynard. 2nd and 10. James, ball is loose, but had the whistle blown. Eugene Robinson comes out of the pack. Yes.
Well, they're going to debate if James was down, but he had the misfortune of running into number 45, Kenny Easley. And I don't think there's a more physical defensive back in football than Kenny Easley. As you see, James would have gotten good yardage on this, but number 45, and when Easley hits you, he tries to hurt you. He may have been down, though, Frank.
It was very close. But they have given the ball to Seattle at midfield. Eugene Robinson recovered the ball. We'll look at it from the reverse angle, and perhaps we can see it a little bit better.
James comes in. He's hit. He still has the ball. He's covering it up. He's sitting. No, it came down before he went down.
Good call by the official. Warner on 1st down and 10. Gets outside of defensive back Jeff Dale and picks up yardage down to about the 47-yard line. Give him 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Go back again, and you can understand why we like this reverse angle camera. You couldn't see it from the other side of the field, but you can hear it was a good call. Here's Easley taking James head on, and as O.J. mentioned, he is so physical. And the ball comes out right there before the knee had touched the ground. Second down and 7. Seattle now leading 9-7. They're at San Diego's 47-yard line. Argent in and out of the hands of Darrell Turner. Argent working left, Turner right, and what a combination it is. Steve Largent, as we mentioned earlier, on tonight has moved into 4th place. Charlie Joyner is up there on top of the heap in his 18th year, and Largent really is only about 1,600 yards back. He's 32 years old. Joyner will be 39 years old October the 14th. Largent tonight, 3 receptions, 63 yards. 3rd and 7. Going deep. Franklin with a great catch. Wayne Davis, Vincey Glenn were both there. Byron Franklin, who had a couple of really big years with Buffalo and came late last year, somehow came away with that football, taking it away from Wayne Davis and Vincey Glenn.
As you can see, he's running a simple fly pattern. This is a, hey, I'm faster than you type of pattern. He proved to be faster, and what's surprising is that he was able to hold on to the ball.
20 is Davis. Got a hand in there. Glenn had a hand in there, and a well-thrown ball by Dave Craig. Johnson for the conversion. Seattle extending their lead. And a 46-yard touchdown pass, Craig to Byron Franklin. Here it is again, and just blazing speed, and Franklin does give that dimension to Seattle. Along with Darrell Turner, they can put some speed on the out. Deep, Lionel James and Gary Anderson. Another booming, towering punt by Johnson. This time James will bring it out, but not far. The ball's loose. We don't need to tell you who has that one. Sam Merriman put the hit on James. Watch again.
Let's take a look at it. Once you're looking at probably right now the best special teams in football. They've had 4 block kicks already this year that led to touchdowns.
Patrick Hunter just stripped it, and Merriman put the pressure on James. Seattle have the ball near the 15-yard line of San Diego. The ball near the 15-yard line, 1st down and 10. We're a couple of minutes from the midway point here in the 3rd quarter. That's Largent. So quickly, and again, victimizing Wayne Davis. Turner beat Wayne Davis, and a 49. Back out for the conversion. And the Seahawks have exploded. 8:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. They lead the Chargers 23-7. Kickoff. We're going to exhaust him tonight. James to the 3-yard line.
Smart move.
This time better advised. He stays in the end zone, and San Diego trots their offensive unit out to 8:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Big job ahead for Dan Fouts. And a flag before the ball was snapped. Movement.
Start. Number 63 on the offense. Still 1st down.
It begins to snowball after a while. Jim Leonard, who is in there because of a back problem to Sam Clapham, the left guard, who ordinarily starts for San Diego. He was caught moving and not taking the proper set. Now it's first down and 15. The option. Buford McGee to Gary Anderson, and Anderson out over the 25-yard line. Getting 10 yards on the pickup. More and more teams using that play. Gene Stallings of the St. Louis Cardinals has put that play in. It's just kind of a version of the old option.
Yeah, it's a pretty inventive play. Normally it hasn't been run in the NFL because coaches don't want to risk their quarterback. So San Diego has done a little variation off it. They hand it to the fullback, and he's the option man.
Anderson got 11, so it'll be second down and 4. Bounce. This time he finds Chandler, and Chandler up close to midfield. They'll mark it inside the 47. First down, San Diego.
Yeah, something has to give. You have this much talent on a football team, and you're getting embarrassed. Something's got to give. You see Wes Chandler does a good job of turning Dave Brown around. He touches the ball, gets upfield, and gets out of bounds.
He took him right out of his sneaks. Good move by Chandler. Got some of the best moves of any receiver in the league. 9-year veteran, but still has the speed and the quickness. They do have talent. They just have not been in sync. On first down. Winslow loses the football. Covered downfield by Dave Brown. Now they're saying that Winslow never had it.
I think
juggling the ball all the way. He never did control the ball. Ruled an incompletion. So the Chargers dodge another turnover.
As you can see,
they're going to check the replay on this. We'll look again.
Kellen gets downfield, something he has not been doing too much this year.
He never had it.
He just about had control of it. Pretty difficult to tell on that.
47 remaining in the third quarter. Seahawks leading the Chargers 23-7. McGee. Maybe a yard. It'll be third and long now for Fouts.
Once again, Frank, it's somewhat surprising that the Chargers, when they do run the ball, they try to run it up the middle because the book on the Chargers, if you're going to put pressure on Fouts and you're going to play the pass, play him tight up the middle. Play him crowd that middle, so if you run anyway, you would think they'd run off tackle on the outside.
The replay confirming what they said was the right call. And they did it rather quickly. 3rd and 9. Anderson. Inside the 40-yard line of Seattle. First down, San Diego. What a gifted athlete this is. Had 2 1,000-yard seasons at Tampa Bay in the USFL. 1985 season, he had 1,200 yards rushing, and he had 72 receptions.
I tell you what, he's been bothered by a hip pointer. He only played about 5 plays against the Raiders last week, but this guy here is about the closest thing to Lenny Moore that I've seen since number 24 hung him up.
He is electric. Great speed, great athletic ability. Anderson again. Look at this. Good move back to the inside on another first down for Anderson inside the 20.
It's interesting. He's not as electric as Kurt Warner. He's smooth, but the results are the same. These are the Chargers we've grown accustomed to. Little simple swing pass, just getting the ball with some open field. Now, you ain't going to see that violent cut that you'll see Kurt Warner make. But the guy has speed. You really can't tell because he's so smooth. He almost broke it all the way on that.
He can leave you guessing and spinning. San Diego with the first down just inside the 20-yard line of Seattle. Fouts looking for a quick one. And Chandler colliding with Dave Brown. A flag is down.
In my opinion, that should be an offensive penalty. It looked to me as if Chandler ran into Brown.
That could well be it. Chandler tried to make it look like he was going to the ball, but he's going to get the call.
And if Chandler would have stayed with his route, I think he had a chance to catch that ball.
Dave Brown positioned himself well and really forced his call. Number 22, he's been around 12 years. Good position. No question about it. Chandler took it right into him. then tried to make it look good.
Chandler would have stayed up. That's a miscommunication again between the receiver and Fouts. If he'd have stayed up, he'd had a chance on that ball.
Anderson is right. Gary Anderson. To the left is Wes Chandler. And that's Kellen Winslow in motion. Fouts almost picked off, trying to squeeze it into Chandler, working against Dave Brown once again. Second down and 20. And Jacob Green was offside, but was he drawn off? Because a pair of Seahawks both came off at the same time.
Encroachment, number 79 of the defense, still second down.
15 following the penalty. Ball just inside the 25-yard line. Blitz, Seattle. Fouts reads it, looking for Anderson. And he goes up with Terry Taylor, and another flag comes down.
Once again, that could be an offensive penalty.
Now this is going to go against Taylor.
Oh.
You get one-on-one when you get that blitz, and Seattle was bringing everybody. Taylor was trying to stay with Gary Anderson. Let's take a look at it again. We'll watch it from the end zone.
Gary is running a straight-up fly pattern, and once again, it's you against me. Who's got the most speed? Taylor appeared to have good position on him. I don't see it.
Now, the replay was shown in the end zone here in the Kingdom. The crowd didn't see it either. In any event, it's first down, goal to go. San Diego at the 4-yard line. Another look at it. They probably said that Taylor was leaning in to Gary Anderson. Bounce back again, and in trouble. Squeezes one in to Lionel James, who was hit at the 1-yard line by Eugene Robinson. A good blow. Kept James out of the end zone.
Well, if there was any doubt about Fouts still being effective, that disproved it. I mean, that guy there on that pass, he threw it backing up, sidearm, right on the money.
He had no right to complete that ball. And Fouts, as the Chargers on the move, second down, goal to go at the 1-yard line. That's the time remaining in the third quarter, and the Chargers need this one. Clifford McGee. And I don't think they're going to give that to him. They're not. Market inside the 1. McGee is really exercised.
Very interesting call. It was a variation off that option play that they run. McGee decided to keep the ball. Maybe it was designed for him to keep the ball all the way. Appeared from here as if he got in, but let's see if his knee goes down. The seam, he's number 21. But did anyone knock him down? It's hard to tell.
This is getting serious for San Diego. Quick count. McGee will not get in this time. He loses yardage. Kenny Easley, one of the harder hitting defensive backs in this league, along with Keith Butler, were there defensively for Seattle, and now it's down 23-7. There's no question what you do on fourth down.
Well, I'm surprised number 40, Gary Anderson, is going out of the game. We saw him go airborne in a game earlier this year. I'd play him. I'd put him in the eye, play him like the Raiders play Marcus Allen, and see if he can go over the top. But he's not on the field.
Winslow is in the backfield. That's Winslow on the move. The option, McGee. James is on the outside. Mishandled, and Seattle will take over. Tough call down there. Looking to go 4-1 against San Diego tonight to stay within one game of the undefeated Denver Broncos in the AFC West. John L. Williams, the rookie from Florida, who has already shown us time and again tonight. He is a superb blocker. He has also shown considerable skill at running the football, and he's not a bad receiver. A lot of talent in a #1 draft pick package. Baseball tomorrow. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer will be in Boston as the American League Championship Series gets underway. Kurt Warner. Flag is down, and Warner is up to the 10-yard line. Ian and Gary Plummer in there defensively for San Diego. San Diego was able to move the football, and they got it in close. They had a first down goal to go, but they just could not get it in.
Well, they look like they finally got their offense on track. What's interesting, if you look at the score, they'll eventually need a field goal.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 76 on the offense. Still second down.
Of course, that's assuming that they stop the Seahawks from scoring again.
And 11. Dave Craig looking it over. 23-7. They should be fairly conservative down here. Throw something underneath, and that's what they do. And Williams turns a little one into a big one. First and 10. Seattle at their own 18-yard line. Warner works hard and works well out over the 25 near the 27-yard line.
I'm telling you, Kurt has the feeling tonight because he's running where he sees daylight. He's not waiting for his linemen at all. And some of the guys up front are doing a good job, but there's one or two guys that's not really doing anything. That's why it's surprising that Kurt has been able to get these positive yards.
106 of them to be exact for Kurt Warner. His third game this year over 100 yards. He is definitely back. Second down and 1. John Williams tried to go outside. Nothing happening. Donald Brown, the cornerback, the rookie from Maryland, up there defensively along with Fred Robinson. There's a loss back close to the 25-yard line. It'll be third down. Call it a long 2. Head towards the final minute remaining here in the third quarter. Seattle controlling the football. Moving from their own 7-yard line. Taking valuable time off the clock and away from San Diego. Wide open. And out of the backfield, Kurt Warner will give Seattle another first down as he moves to the 37-yard line. If you weren't with us earlier, Steve Largent set an NFL record when he caught his first pass tonight, 17-yarder. He has now collected at least one pass in 128 consecutive games. As we look at Warner again, a flag is down, but Warner stays on his feet. Hard work by Warner to the 40-yard line. Again, a flag is down.
I think they may take this one away from Kurt.
Now a late flag flies after the play was over. 22-yard pickup in which Warner traveled about 40.
Yeah. Well, that says something about this Seattle Seahawks offense. Last year, all of last year, they only had 4 runs over 20 yards. This would be the 7th run.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 90 of the defense. That penalty is declined. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 32 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced. First and 10.
So the scamper by Warner stands. Donald Brown, the rookie from Maryland, is guilty of unsportsmanlike conduct against Kurt Warner, and they mark that off all the way down to the 26-yard line. That's what you're supposed to do. On first down, 26-yard line. Warner again. Inside the 25, down close to the 22-yard line. Seconds ticking off here in the third quarter on a Seattle. Kurt Warner inside the 20-yard line. Where it'll be third down and 3. Warner, the workhorse tonight.
And I think that's the way Kurt would want it. Maybe a little winded here, but that's when a runner will be at his best. When he gets a little winded, he gets a little tired. He doesn't think so much. He just reacts to what he sees. We've watched Kurt tonight. He's not been looking for blocks by his linemen. He's just reacting to daylight. And he's been doing a good job of it.
The word we have on Kenny Easley, a hyperextended knee. Third down, long 3. Sargent is going to throw the ball if he can, trying to go back to his quarterback, but he looks downfield and he finds Byron Franklin. I think Largent wanted to go back to Dave Craig. Craig was covered. Largent was very cool, kept it all together, looked downfield and found Franklin.
Hey, Frank, Largent, I think, would have thrown that ball if he hadn't tripped. He came around. You'll see he's about to turn and throw. If he would have thrown, it may have been an interception, but he tripped. Being a heads-up player, he looks elsewhere. There's Byron Franklin hustling.
You know, I watched a special they had on Largent last night here in the Seattle area on the local station, and I watched him as a high school player. He was a tremendous defensive back. Watched him run an interception back, 95 yards for a touchdown. First down, goal to go, Seattle. Warner tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Just does get back to the line of scrimmage. Then later, of course, at the University of Tulsa, led the nation in touchdown receptions. 4th-round draft pick was Largent for the Houston Oilers. Bum Phillips traded him away for an 8th-round draft pick. I recently was talking to Howard Twilley of the Miami Dolphins, who played his collegiate football at Tulsa. They were much alike. Twilley not sticking around because of injuries quite as long, of course, as Largent. But they were very bright players, very confident players. And it's just been a great career for Largent thus far. On second down, goal to go. Craig in trouble. Looks up, fires into the end zone. Beautiful. Down with the football is Eric Lane, who is in there on the short yardage offense. Johnson tacks it on. And Seattle leads San Diego 30-7. Norm Johnson to kick off. Booming kick taken by James at the 2-yard line. Flag comes in late, as you saw James, who has fumbled twice tonight, covering up that football. Eric Lane was down there to make it San Diego, and they'll begin at their own 8-yard line. A very intense Don Coryell looking on from the sidelines as Fouts is back. And under pressure, gets the ball to Gary Anderson, and he's taken right there. Joe Nash, the nose tackle, sliding out from the center position to make the stop on Anderson. There will be a loss on that play.
Do you think Chuck Knox and his defensive coach, Catlin, have any idea what the Chargers are doing? They have 7 defensive backs on the football field.
Hurry up offense for the San Diego Chargers. They come back with the draw play. Lionel James upended. Good defensive play. Greg Johnson up there to make the stop. No huddle now for San Diego. 3rd down and 10. Fouts. That's Taylor. Yes, the interception. He did not drop it. Terry Taylor, and he is in pain. He could have fallen on the football as he dove for it. First. Otherwise, we'd be here until brunch tomorrow. Craig looking for Turner, in and out of his hands as he was working against the rookie from Maryland, Donald Brown. 2nd down and 10. Warner again. Oh, he's running so well tonight. It's a pleasure to watch. Great career at Penn State under Joe Paterno. Came up the #1 draft pick. Rookie year. Incredible. 1,449 yards. They're going to bring that one back.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because I think I was going to say that's unfortunate because I think the holding penalty occurred after Warner had run by the lineman.
Then, of course, the very first play of his second year, Warner went out with a knee injury, total reconstruction. Struggled back last year, still a 1,000-yard season, but he was not the same Kurt Warner. But he is definitely back. Second down and 20. Blitz by San Diego. Craig has a red. This will be picked off. Gil Bird bringing it back for San Diego and all the way back out to the 22-yard line. Craig and his receiver totally out of sync on that. Craig read the blitz perfectly.
Well, Largent was trying to get inside. I don't know if Largent was at fault, but there was a lot of contact going on with Largent and the guy covering him on that play. He was trying to go to Largent, and Largent was tied up about 15, 20 yards downfield. He's trying to throw to 80, and if you'll see, well, we couldn't see it. He came in the screen real late, but Largent was being tied up over there. There's Largent there missing the tackle.
Well, Gil Bird was much more open.
Yeah.
First and 10, San Diego. Their own 22-yard line. They'll try and get some life back into their offense. Bounce again, a lot of time, and again it's picked off. Curry Justin this time picks off Dan Fouts. Two interceptions thus far for Fouts. He came into tonight with 11. That was the most in the league. And he got those in the last 3 games. And this offensive passing game of the San Diego Chargers is just totally out of sync.
And I tell you again, Frank, I came here ready to looking at Fouts thinking, well, hey, at 35, he may be showing it. But this is not his fault. He's throwing against 7 defensive backs, and his receivers are not getting open.
And they've been some of the best over the years. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. It's 30-7, 10:57 remaining in the game, and they have a first and 10 at the 43-yard line of San Diego. Williams works the left side of the 41-yard line, a gain of a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Seattle, a short week for a tough opponent. The Raiders bouncing back, and Seattle will meet them in Los Angeles this coming Sunday. San Diego will be home, and they have the good fortune of meeting Denver. We'll see the Chargers and the Raiders later on November the 20th on Thursday night. Second down and 8 now for Seattle. Warner again. And hit and bounces back as Jeff Dale came up to make the stop. They'll mark it where the contact was made, but Dale really put a shot into Kurt Warner.
Well, he hit Kurt Warner. It was a good shot, but it wasn't one of those knockout punches because Kurt is still trying to stay on his feet.
And they marked it close enough for the first down. And Warner will get an ovation as he leaves the game. And I'm sure we've seen enough of Warner tonight. Certainly San Diego has. He was the only offense Seattle exhibited in the first half, and he leaves with 143 yards. First and 10. Randall Morris. All the way to the 7-yard line is Kurt Warner's replacement. Morris again. Lost the football. A scramble. Oh, cover the ball. That will be Seattle's ball. It had to be covered. Donald Brown was trying to pick it up and run it. All he had to do was cover it, and San Diego would have got the football.
With the score 30-7, I wouldn't criticize him too much.
No, you got to get all you can get. Not a bad practice, though, to do it at all times.
Yeah.
Morris again, right side. Gets into the traffic. The ball is pounded out. It was Lee Williams who knocked the ball loose. And here comes Donald Brown. That funny little thing can sure take a lot of funny maneuvers. It bounces all over the place, particularly on the artificial surface. Second down, goal to go. The ball at the 17-yard line now, San Diego. Craig under pressure, fires, and Williams is there. Back to the 11-yard line. It'll be third down, goal to go. And Williams will go off as the nickelbacks come in for San Diego, anticipating the pass. John Williams, a rookie #1 draft pick from Florida, looking awfully good tonight. And now he'll come back in. They're going to have to call timeout because the 30-second clock is ticking down to zip. And Dave Craig let it go all the way down to 1 before he used the ball near the 11-yard line. Craig. Franklin to the 1-yard line. Good night for Byron Franklin. Ken Taylor made the stop. And the fans would like more, but we're going to see the field goal unit come on, as they have marked it really at the 2-yard line. That will mean, of course, Norm Johnson, who has hit from 29 yards tonight, from 30 yards, and tied his own career mark in the third quarter from 54 yards out. This will be about a half a wedge. OJ would understand that. He's deep into this wonderful game of golf now.
I'm learning it.
I saw that commercial you did with Palmer. Forget it. Stay with the tennis. End zone.
It'd be different.
Johnson hits it.
It'd be different if they scored a lot of touchdowns in the first half.
James, and he'll stay in the end zone. Johnson.
To Charlie Joyner, even though all three are in the game right now.
James, with the Seattle defense laying way back. James is able to exploit that defense down to the 48-yard line for San Diego first down.
And they were able to do that because the offensive line did an excellent job of picking up a safety blitz there in the middle. Of course, anybody who blitzes is either a safety or a cornerback, because that's all that's in the secondary right now. No linebackers.
Bouts, Joyner, and another first down. As San Diego continues to go without the huddle. Terry Justin, who replaced Terry Taylor, made the stop. Bouts always the competitor. Tried to get it to Joyner and is picked off. Bill Moyer, one of the nickelbacks, intercepts Bouts for the third time tonight. Bouts now 14 interceptions, and hit after he released the ball. Just fortunate that he was even able to get it away. Not a well thrown football, but again he was under pressure. And here it comes, number 57, and they're banging on him.
Once again, if it wasn't for the fact that there were 7 DBs in the game, that ball would have just been an incompleted forward pass. But with 7 guys there, Moyer was able to just play center field and sit back there.
Seattle gets it back at their own 29-yard line with 6:01 remaining. They'll work heavily on the clock now. This one is in the books, and Seattle probably already thinking about their encounter with the Raiders coming up on Sunday. Craig handing off to Randall Morris, who this time squeezes the football. Doesn't want to cough it up again. Out over the 30-yard line goes Morris.
Well, so much for that 20 yards per carry average.
3 undefeated teams remain in the National Football League. Washington Redskins, the Denver Broncos, and the Chicago Bears. We'll be watching the Denver Broncos 2 weeks from tonight as they go against the Jets in New York.
Denver is quite impressive. I love to see them play the Bears now. The Bears are beating people, and they're not playing their best football. I think the Bears right now is still the best team in football.
Eric Lane turns a little screen into about a 3-yard pickup up to the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Dan Fouts, been around a long time, seen a lot of things, 14-year veteran, has produced some of the most exciting football ever seen in the National Football League. 47 300-yard games, including 6 400-yard games. Both those, by the way, are NFL records. Pro Bowl, 6 of the last 7 years. Just kind of hard to put your finger on what it is. I mean, we've mentioned several times tonight the personnel's the same. Everything just kind of out of sync. One kind of wonders if maybe that 2-head coach situation that they are apparently using with Al Saunders and Don Coryell might be affecting this ball club all throughout the offense and some of the defense.
And Byron Franklin is having a career game here today. If the Seahawks are thinking about making a trade now that they might not have Kenny Easley and Terry Taylor, they certainly have one of their receivers to shop around.
If you were not with us earlier, I mentioned earlier that Al Saunders is the assistant head coach. That's how they list him, in charge of also receivers. And he is a man who communicates with Alex Spanos, the owner, and does the administrative work while Don Coryell ostensibly is just dealing with the football end of it. So I know that's what he loves, but I wonder if it's working. 3:34, the clock is moving, remaining in Seattle on the move once again. Eric Lane working over on the left side, inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. Speaking of assistant coaches, talking with Chuck Knox today, their strength and conditioning coach, Joe Vitt, is, according to Coach Knox, doing well after some serious cancer surgery, still hospitalized, but he is on the mend. We wish him well, as do many of his friends, many of them, of course, in Philadelphia and on the East Coast. Big night for Largent. 4 catches, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Caught at least 1 pass in his 128th game, new NFL record. Moved to 6th place in career touchdowns with 81. Moved to 4th place in career receiving yards, well over 10,000 now. Morris struggling to stay in bounds and keep the clock moving as it ticks down to 2:30. Largent also had a pass completion tonight. He set up another touchdown to Byron Franklin.
And next week may be another little milestone for Steve Largent. He only needs 6 more receptions to pass Charlie Taylor and become number 2 behind Charlie Joyner on the all-time reception list.
More than that, a fine young man. Works hard. Probably the hardest working Seahawk they have on offense. Strong family man, deeply religious. No credit to this game. The 4-1. Seattle with the football. 3rd down and 3. Huge gaping hole, and Randall Morris burst through it to the 20-yard line. Clock continues to move, and Morris gets another Seattle 1st down.
Boy, he's quick, isn't he?
He is quick. 3rd-year man out of Tennessee.
It's interesting. Normally around the league, you have a good back, a guy like a Kurt Warner. You look at the guys who are playing behind him, they come in the game and they can look equally as good, mainly because they've been watching him in practice, you know, and in the game.
And also, it's like a fighter coming in the 9th round after somebody has punched him out for about 8 rounds. A little different attitude down there. First and 10. Morris again. Scramble for the football. They won't let you play very much if you do this very often. That's twice now Morris has given it up. One thing Chuck Knox does not like, well, does any coach like it? But he feels very strongly about it. You don't turn it over.
Well, his philosophy is ball control, keeping the ball, keeping it on the ground. Don't make any mistakes and take advantage of their mistakes when they make them. So That philosophy doesn't work when you're fumbling.
Morris again. Saw a little something to the outside. Tried to work it. Ball carried very loosely in his hand. Of course, you're sweaty at this point of the game. You're carrying it up on the wrist, and it came loose. San Diego gets it back with 1:03 remaining in the game. And we have Tom Flick, third-year quarterback from the University of Washington. Was good in preseason. Been around a little bit. He tried out with Washington, Cleveland, and New England. 6'3", 190-pounder as Dan Fouts gets a little bit of a breather.
False start. Number 61 of the offense. Still first down.
That's sort of nice of Coach Coryell that in Seattle.
Gary Anderson works out to the 17-yard line. A reminder, later tonight, Nightline goes to the Nevada desert for a rare close-up look at a nuclear test. And Ted Koppel talks with a top U.S. and a top Soviet official about the fight over a nuclear test moratorium. That's tonight on Nightline, following your late local news. As only Mr. Koppel can present it. He's something different. He's the best. Flick. Joyner pays the price of a high thrown ball. And is a little slow at just under 39 years in getting up. Truly
That
remarkable.
is amazing.
Hasn't missed a game, OJ, since 1973.
Yeah. It's one thing to have a quarterback maybe make it to his 39th birthday and still be active. And sometimes maybe there's a lineman or two who's done
Or a
it.
kicker.
I can't imagine a guy being a running back or a wide receiver being able to play to this late in his life. I mean, 39 years of age.
I think he could work out some sort of a career by now. He's been a great one. He, of course, setting a record tonight for career yardage. Flag is down as Anderson gets the first down out over the 25-yard line, and the clock ticks down to 16 seconds. San Diego rushed the football tonight at this point to 49 yards. Seattle 218 yards. More than that, they controlled the ball with 45 attempts. They'll bring it back.
On the offense, still third down.
Outside San Diego, the down will remain the same.
Well, I don't think we've figured out. I think you may have come the closest to it, Frank, mentioning that dual head coach situation with San Diego as to what's wrong with the Chargers. All I can tell you is the offensive line seems to be doing a very good job for them. And we know they got talent in the skill positions, and there's no reason for them to be held to 7 points in this football game.
And this will be, unless they get on the scoreboard with a touchdown, the fourth game as Flick goes down. He's sacked back there. This will be the fourth game they've not been able to get a touchdown in the second half at all. And they have now been shut out if they do not get any points here in the second half. 3 of those 4 games. Frustrating for Don Coryell. He lives by the offense, believes in it so thoroughly, and they lose big tonight to Chuck Knox and the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks looking strong. Raiders starting to come back as we look again at Steve Largent, and of course Denver on top at 5-0 and very strong. Tough division out here in the AFC Western Division. Once again, the final score: Seattle defeats San Diego 33-7. Our ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Nissan, who invited you to test drive the new Go Anywhere Pathfinder, and by exceptionally smooth Michelob. Exceptionally, that'll do. It could make tonight the best part of your day. And by MCI Communication for the next 100 years. Our travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline.